Welcome, Madridistas. How are you all doing? Have you seen this Lego commercial? Lego, which must have paid a fortune. I mean, I think it must be an infinite amount because just look at how much each of these guys charges individually to advertise something and bringing them all together. And it's not artificial intelligence. I think it appeared in a post that Messi made, and well, Cristiano posted it to Messi as well, that this is not artificial intelligence. I think they recorded it separately, but it's really them, right? Nowadays, man, they can fool you with anything. But with artificial intelligence, you can still usually spot that something's off. When two people talk, they don't really look each other in the eyes. Little things like that. But soon, we're going to be completely fooled by this, which is dangerous. But that's for another video. This isn't just because of the money that Lego must have paid, and the ad is also really good, but also because of the football angle it has. And there are the Barça fans, well, the Barça fans, the anti-Madridistas, the anti-Vinicius people in general, right? The ad is great, but I won't play it all here. Have you seen it? Cristiano shows up at the beginning, puts a little piece, then Vini takes it away from him, something like that. Cristiano makes a face, then Mbappe shows up, they go around the table, each one, and then Messi appears. It's fun. I mean, it's not in the end, hey, it's the first in the end and at the beginning, it's the first ad, the first commercial, the first time Messi and Cristiano appeared together, even if they probably recorded it separately, but they appeared together in a commercial, right? And like I said, well, it's nice. Messi shows him his little Argentina figurine, his little figure. Cristiano shows his with Portugal, and so on. And then a kid shows up here and puts his own. And well, with the World Cup anyway. Did I spoil the commercial for you? I don't think so. I imagine you've probably seen it, but even though I don't think this happens with commercials, when it comes to copyright, it always makes me a little bit nervous. But anyway, the main thing here is that this guy Vinny is sitting at the table with all these greats. And yeah, well, Vinicius has earned it, hasn't he? Has he earned it just by being Mr. Right Now? The footballer who, in the last 5 years, in the last half decade, has the best Champions League stats in terms of, well, goals produced, right? Goals plus assists, right? And, well, the most decisive one in knockout stages, and of course, in finals, with goals in two finals and winning two titles in two finals for Real Madrid. A Ballon d'Or was stolen from him since he won the best, and usually, whoever wins the best also gets the Ballon d'Or. We don't need to say this here now, right? Because among us, I think we all understand it, and it's something that really hurts them. It really hurts the anti-Madrid crowd. And now the last thing is this, right? That Vini sits at the table with these guys. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad because Vini has earned it, even though just 2 or 3 days ago, Vini really creates some very, very unique things, if you notice. 2 or 3 days ago, we showed a video here, we covered it solo. They said in Brazil that Vinicius wasn't good enough, the jersey was too big for him, and he always messed up. But in the match against Croatia, Vini played amazingly. But he also stirs things up at Real Madrid among the fans and around the club from time to time. We've seen it this year, right? And he's like a footballer who really polarizes people, right? Uh, Vinicius's case is very curious. Now, the football world, well, they already recognized him with the best award, and they should have recognized him with the Ballon d'Or. But on a publicity level, in terms of a strong image marketing, for him to be recognized like this, I think it's very important, and he deserves it. Vini's bonus. There was Mbappe, who gave an interview for, well, he was with Chouameni, it was the other day. It's called The Bridge. It's a show they do. I don't know if it's on French television or just YouTube. Honestly, I don't know. And he says this, voila, voila, I defend less than the others, and sometimes that can be a problem. The Frenchman is honest about his defensive side, his rivalry with Guardiola, and the bizarre story of his driver's license in Madrid. Well, we care less about that last part. This is what he said about Guardiola. And before we listen to him, give me a second because I think we have it here. About Guardiola, this is it, some might say. But what happened with Guardiola? Well, with Guardiola, remember that goal he scored against him this year when we knocked City out the previous year in that 3-0 at the Bernabeu when all three goals were from Mbappe. He really messed Guardiola up. He went this way, then that way, and then Mbappe celebrated like this, here, there, here, goal, and so on. And someone said, "Oh, look how cocky he is," right? Well, he said that the Croatian footballer from City interviewed him and said, "Yeah, right." And he says that he doesn't forget those things. That's where my celebration came from, he says. Well, he adds, they criticize me for that and it doesn't bother me. It's constructive criticism. No, this is because of, wait. This is because of what we're going to see now. This is because of not defending. He says, I wanted to leave the national team here in 2021. When I missed the penalty, people called me monkey. This was in the 2020 Euros, which was played in 2021 because of the pandemic. When he missed the penalty in the shootout against Switzerland, do you remember? France was eliminated and then Switzerland faced Spain in the quarterfinals. That was in the round of 16. A French team, that was supposed to crush everyone because it was the best team and all that, loses to Switzerland with the penalty missed by Mbappé. Well, there you go. Vinny hasn't been the only one they've called a monkey. It's terrible, so what can we even say about this anymore? Well, and about this issue of criticizing him for that it's constructive criticism, this was the moment when Chouameni starts to say, wait, sometimes Mbappe, let's translate as we go, just a moment. He says, well, I'll try. They're speaking in French, but they're putting the subtitles here in English, and I'll try to say what he's saying. In the match, you see him, he says, he's defending a little less, and yes, he scores 3 goals, and you think, yes. Really, he says, really, he makes the difference. He's with Achraf Hakimi here, by the way, Mbappe. I mean, Lego brings those 4 together here for the interview. They bring these 3 together. Hey, what luck. That's great, right? That's what it means to have money, right? Uh, he says sometimes, even in the transition phase of football, I think it's also good. He says, you ask, I don't know in what context he was saying it, you ask about awards, wait. He says, I think it's true that when someone does less, but he says, but I only look at it when I do it, but I only see it when I do it. It really impacts the team. When you look at Madrid, when I do it, everyone is there. People don't really expect him to defend either. I understand that's what they mean. No.
Yes, he really does say that.
That it's true, he says. I've often been criticized for it, but it doesn't bother me. Because these are constructive criticisms today. The truth is that I'm a player who defends less.
See you in the next video.
And sometimes this can be a problem. And no, I don't have a problem with it because as a player, there are things you do that can make the team different. From a positive point of view, and you can do things that make the team different from a negative point of view, in a negative way. If all the players were perfect, I think soccer would be very boring. And everyone says, yes, well, they agree. It's good that he sees it, but it seems to me that he's one of those people who, well, recognizes things but isn't going to change them. Honestly, if Mbappe, with the physique he has, defended a little more, seriously, like I always say, soccer isn't what it used to be. And of course, he can give more. And of course, that's not going to take away a bit of his brilliance when he has the ball. He needs to understand that. And I hope Arbelo manages to get through to him so he understands. He needs to understand that being the first to defend or helping out in that defensive part that, for me, every forward should have, actually benefits him. If the ball is recovered earlier, if his midfielders can push up and press the opposing team when they're bringing the ball out, you have a better chance to win the ball back and create dangerous situations. This is obvious. It's just obvious. The other thing is just pure laziness. Not defending is just pure laziness. As good as Mbappe is, and he knows it, damn it. He knows it. That's what makes me mad. Because he takes advantage of it. And look, no hate here, no hate. Because I speak very highly of Mbappe for the things he does well, which is a lot of things. but he takes advantage of his position and his status in the team, in any team. I mean, he's come to Madrid, but if he went to Liverpool, he'd do the same thing. Like, hey, I'm Mbappé, and if I don't want to defend, I won't. That, look, what do you want me to say? It's like I always say, I never buy absolutely everything anyone says, you know? I'm not going to defend anyone for no reason when I think they've done something indefensible. No, I mean, no. And here, I think this is wrong. Honestly, it's wrong. It's wrong. But worse, my dear friends, it's much worse, much worse. In fact, there's the thing with the girls today. No. Says, but man, come on. Quarterfinals, sorry, now you see it. Quarterfinals, what would Linda Caicedo, who's a good soccer player, think? Seriously, it's like, what am I doing here, man? Anyway, what are we doing here? Sorry, what are we doing here? What are we doing here like this? Because I've seen a lot of people who are fed up, really fed up with Real Madrid going, well, the women's Real Madrid team, it's not the most important category by any means. It's a relatively recent creation. A lot of people, in terms of the matches, there are others who do care. I have to admit, I don't. Sorry. I also don't attend Candela's matches because I don't have time. I have a family. I wish I could be 18 or 19 again, back when I watched everything. That's not true. It does matter to me. And honestly, it annoys me that Madrid always embarrasses themselves against Barça. Sorry. And besides, there's a very particular situation, which is that Madrid isn't such a bad team, I think, because I see them competing with the others. Damn, tomorrow they're playing against a team like Chelsea or Trafalgar, a Paris Saint-Germain or something like that. At least they compete, they can beat them, they can win, they're competing, and in the league. I don't know how they're doing, but I don't know if they're in second place. I don't know, but I think they're near the top. I mean, you say, hey, let's close the section. Well, man, not really, because you beat the rest. Or at least, I mean, the only ones you lose against are Barça. Is there really that much of a gap for a 12-2 scoreline in these Champions League quarterfinals? A 12-2 to 6 in Valdebeba 6-0 at Camp Nou, which reopened at Camp Nou. That's another thing. Barça is going all out here. The others are very good, but there's a big gap between the women's Madrid team and the women's Barça team. But also, the others are going to try to do a lot of damage, and they're right to do so. I think the Barça women are doing the right thing. They'll cause as much damage as they can. Why? Because it's Madrid, because they're constantly being told there's less distance. We're going to make the gap huge to break their morale. Of course, then Laporta and the people there will probably say that Madrid has to be crushed no matter what, right? Well, that's something the women have here that Madrid never does. If Madrid were much better than Barca's women's team in this category, I'm convinced Madrid wouldn't do these kinds of outrageous things. Because it's a cultural thing, Madrid never wants to crush their opponents. Barca, even though many of us asked them to, right? And then for all the wrongdoings they've done, right? Like paying a refereeing chief for 20 years, etc., signing players, I mean, registering them without being allowed to, etc., right? In men's football, they've likely done something in women's football too, though I don't think it's necessary, but you know what I mean. People may request it for various reasons, but Madrid wouldn't because it's entirely a cultural issue. So I think there's not that much distance between them. Honestly, there is a lot, but not so much that you could say, hey, women are playing against girls. No. But guys, they always give their all to thrash Madrid. So what's happening here? This goes around the world, among other things, because another reason, hey, girls, women's soccer is being watched more and more. I don't know. This is the Champions League. Well, it's being watched. There are people who will give it more importance now than before. If you score 6 here and 6 there, you'll go around the world, especially against Madrid. Boom, they do it. So, of course, it's a shame. It's a shame. I mean, for any Madrid fan, it's a shame to say, hey, really, where are we going with this, right? But then, when faced with that question of where are we going with this, if we were last in the standings, if the team was a disaster, I'd say, well, fine, I'll get rid of the section and that's it. No, but they're not that bad either. It's just the others. So what do we need here? What do we need? More money. Well, maybe more money, right? To sign prettier ones than Aicedo, right? I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think, because honestly, I don't know. Hey, tomorrow's first video will be Arbeloa's press conference live stream at 10:30 Spain time, which is 6 hours earlier on the US East Coast. We're going to share more things here in this video because otherwise they get a little bit outdated. I was going to tell you this about Gonzalo Miró, which is really funny. Wait, where are you? Where are you? I warned you before. Well, we had already seen this back in the day. It was when Gonzalo Miró, this is incredible. I'm not going to show it enlarged, but many of you will surely remember. Gonzalo Miró said this in response to the insults to Marcelo at the Calderón. Time really flies. That wasn't a scandal. It wasn't a scandal. They called Marcelo a monkey. They said, "You're a monkey, Marcelo. You're a monkey." They chanted it to him. In the stands, all the fuss about Cornelia, and they called Marcelo a monkey. A lot of people, a lot in that stadium, who later did the same with Vinicius, but outside, because inside it would have led to a sanction, so they did it outside. And then the media downplayed it. They said four crazy people, but it wasn't four, it was hundreds or thousands. But anyway, we all threw our hands up in disbelief. I discussed this in my recent video because of the serious incident in Cornelia. We criticized it as wrong, but once again, the media focused on the same thing. Everything is explained in that video. But anyway, this happened, listen, not that long ago, 12 years ago. 12 years, thank you.
Don't record it, but a big part of the stadium shouted monkey. Gonzalo, were you at the stadium? Were you embarrassed at that moment?
No, because look, I didn't sing it, but I understand that these are things you do to face the enemy. I mean, I don't think it's racism. I agree with Cristiano on that. Just like Luis Aragonés, I can assure you that Luis Pereira, the legendary Atlético de Madrid player, is called Negro. Affectionately, he's called Negro.
But here, the stadium wasn't affectionately calling Marcelo monkey.
No, but just like Cristiano was insulted in a different way, they say that to Marcelo because he messed with the helicopter.
Marcelo was nicknamed Mono for teasing his friend. Gonzalo Miró, the same guy who yesterday on the show El Partidazo de Cope said, Gonzalo Miró points at the politicians for the chance in Cornella and his replacement theory. You know which side he's playing for, right? Well, what we can't do is act shocked, as if this is something that surprises us, saying, no, there's a breeding ground here and so on. I mean, and you mentioned that thing about Marcelo being called Mono years ago. Look, that never even occurred to me to ever say it because it seemed outrageous to me 12 years ago, just like it does now, absolutely. I haven't changed at all today. I've always thought the same thing. Calling a black guy mono in a football stadium, I've always thought that's outrageous, a racist thing, terrible. But always, 12, 15, 20 years ago, I've always thought so. This guy thought it was something funny just to mess with the enemy, but he even defends it. Some things are just, well, the usual hypocrisy. I just can't stand hypocrites. I just can't stand hypocrites, man. Thank you. Well, I'm not really surprised. What? That this was published in La Vanguardia, I hadn't read it, honestly. Gonzalo Miró's controversial opinion about the Vinicius case is setting Twitter on fire. Calling him mono is not what starts with Ra and ends with schism, because if I say it too many times, you know what YouTube does to me. He didn't think so. He didn't think so. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? I mean, it's not about what it is. It's about who it is, of course. But of course, besides, you preach about one thing and then do another. 12 years ago, 5 years ago, and now Gonzalo Miró, this guy defending what he defends, defending who he defends now, because you already know what this guy is doing on public television. Anyway, well, that's it. Actually, there was one more thing I was going to tell you about this guy. What's his name? About, yes, this referee, Miguel Ángel Ortiz Arias. I don't want to forget, because if I do, we'll start with Arbeloa's press conference and I'll lose track. Miguel Ángel Ortiz Arias, First Division referee, regarding the Negreira case. The spotlight has been put on us. Whenever people say to me, no, it's you or it's you all, I tell them the following. Imagine that you are an employee at your company and an executive from that company has done things they shouldn't have. Does that make you corrupt? I don't think so. The judges will decide. And if it's true, they should pay. But honestly, this is really hurting us. There are a few things here. One, the last one. I always say the same thing. I repeat myself a lot, but when they say the judges will decide, what they create in public opinion is that it's something that, well, that the judges are going to decide in criminal court whether to punish it when administratively they let it become time barred. I say the same thing as in the previous videos. The judges will decide. No, excuse me. The law already said it. That is an administrative offense. Barça should have been relegated to the second, third, or even fourth division. But when they talk like that, it's just not no. It's something that's in court. And whatever the judge says, well, it'll be good or bad, true or false. What they say will be no, sorry. The thing is, there was a club here that couldn't do that, because if someone does it today, not for 20 years, just one day, they get relegated. But we would need to do a lot of explaining about this constantly, because the referees themselves tell you this. It's unbelievable. Besides, that's exactly right. We're going to grant them that point. Imagine you're an employee at your company and an executive at that company has done things they shouldn't have. Does that make you corrupt? I don't think so. Well, it's not the same. I mean, we're going to agree with them in the sense that maybe they weren't directly guilty. They weren't receiving envelopes with money. We'll have to see. But in theory and at first, no. And besides, I really don't think so. But there was a boss who decided how things had to be refereed. And there were some who went along with it and knew perfectly well, because those who didn't go along with it ended up being demoted and had to leave the profession. And others knew what was going on and wanted to earn 300,000 a year, not 150,000, not have their salary cut in half. That's where the corrupt system is. The systemic corruption that Judge Aguirre talked about, the previous investigating judge, the judge handling the case, and he wrote it himself in a court order. And this is not exactly the same when an executive of a company says it. If that executive of that company doesn't have direct influence over what you can say or how you do your job within that company, which happens in many companies, then of course not. But the vice president of the referees, the one who decided who got demoted and who got promoted, come on. So there's very little effort to explain this, very little. I shout myself hoarse, but oh well. We have to do it, I think, in every video. Whenever we have the chance, well, all the best to you. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel. Please comment, share, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a wonderful Holy Thursday night, and I hope you're having a great time during this holiday. For those of you who are kind of half on vacation, which may be your case, not completely because we're here working hard every day. And for those of you who don't have any time off too, for them, hang in there. Bye.